You want to know how I learned that the loudest thing in a room isn't always the person shouting orders, but sometimes the one holding a mop, just waiting to be heard? Yeah, I lived that lesson, right in the heart of Manhattan, on a morning so tense you could feel the floor humming under your feet. Picture this: RX Global, all glass and marble, CEO Victoria Lung pacing like a storm cloud in heels, barking at her assistant. Where's the interpreter? 11 minutes till a $500 million deal with a Chinese delegation, but the translators collapsed somewhere on the subway. Phones buzz, jaws tighten. People stare anywhere but at the problem. Then I step up, blue uniform, mop in hand. No badge, no authority. Just, I can translate. You should have seen the looks I got. Is he serious? Someone whispers. But I stand my ground. Say it again. Mandarin, dialects, nuance, all of it. Victoria sizes me up like I'm an ink blot on her spreadsheets, her voice colder than January. And who are you? Just the janitor, I tell her. Night shift. But that doesn't mean I can't help. Say something. In Mandarin. So I do, smooth and steady. And suddenly the room hushes. Because even if they don't get the words, they feel the intent. Get him a suit, she says, 10 minutes to game time. And don't tell legal. Just like that. I'm in the boardroom, borrowed blazer, pretending to belong, but I stand tall. Victoria leans close, low voice. Step out of line, and you're gone. Fair enough. The delegation files in, all crisp suits and unreadable faces. Victoria calls me their cultural liaison, which is code for please don't embarrass me. But it's not just translation. It's a dance, catching double meanings, smoothing egos, making jokes land the right way. When the Chinese lead makes a crack about American bluntness, I shoot back with a proverb and get the whole room laughing. That's when Victoria realizes, for the first time, she's not the sharpest blade here. One coffee later, as the delegation stands to leave, their leader tells her, "Few understand both the language and the soul." Unexpected, he says, but that's where the real stories begin. After the ink dries, Victoria corners me by the window, demands, "Who are you really?" I tell her, a former linguistics professor. Lost everything after my wife died. After a lawsuit took my job, my home, my old life. She studies me, and something in her finally softens. Just a flicker. You just saved a $500 million deal. I wasn't saving the deal, I tell her. I just didn't want to feel invisible anymore. She nods, barely, then says, "Get back in uniform." This never happened. I smile, because maybe, for the first time in a long while, I feel seen. Before I leave, I tell her, someday you'll have to ask yourself why the only one you trusted was the person you almost ignored. Later, in her penthouse, Victoria's staring at the city, all those lights, all that power, and she still can't stop thinking about a janitor with nothing left to lose but his voice. Her assistant wants to draft an NDA. He has a name, Victoria says, and in her world, that's almost gratitude. 2 floors down, I change back into janitor blues, but in the mirror, for a second, I see the man I used to be. Not gone, just waiting. Not long after, the board wants to see me. Off the record, Thomas, a slick board liaison, hands me his card, says, "You scare Victoria. That's why they're interested." I'm walking home that night, my daughter Emma's tiny hand in mine, mind swirling with what-ifs. "Did you win your meeting?" she asks. "I don't know yet, kiddo, but I spoke with my heart." She grins, missing teeth and all. "Then you won." Out of the mouths of babes, right? Back at work, my shifts move to legal, closer to the fire. Marissa from HR hands me a keycard, says, "They're watching. Don't let the shine blind you." I get called up to Victoria's office. This time, no armor, just her and a mug of coffee, hair undone. She asks why I didn't fight harder when I lost everything. Because by the time I realized the cost, the person I was fighting for was already gone. She doesn't deny her part in the old lawsuit. "I signed the kill order," she admits. I hand her Emma's drawing. Me in a suit, a starry building, and a little girl. "She thinks you're a hero," Victoria says, voice almost a whisper. I tell her, "Maybe you've just been too busy erasing yourself." Then the board hauls me in for a grilling. "Why'd you go off script?" I tell them, it's called fluency. Victoria steps in, stands behind me, says, he speaks for me. Silence. I ask for nothing. No promotion, no applause. Just that the next janitor who speaks four languages doesn't have to mop up anyone's mistakes. Victoria backs me, says, if disruption is what it takes to remember who we are, then I welcome it. But the deeper you go, the messier the truth. One night, I stumble onto evidence of a cover-up, insider deals, buried names, Victoria's initials everywhere. When I confront her, she admits, the system still has claws. If I go down, I don't go alone. That's the catch. Nobody in power is truly innocent. But I'm done being afraid. With support from Marissa and Thomas, I pull together a whistleblower file. When the board tries to sweep it under the rug, Victoria makes a choice. She sits beside me, not across. If it burns down, maybe something better grows from the ashes, I say. She doesn't argue. Emma, ever wise, says, did you use your voice again? I did. Good. Because the world needs someone who remembers how to speak the truth. I hold her close, thinking maybe I'm finally more than the sum of what I've lost. Victoria's haunted by ghosts, old files, decisions she can't undo, a system built on silence. Marissa steps up, puts it all on the table. You knew Caleb's wife, didn't you? She asks. Victoria nods. The woman she'd helped erase had a name, Mia. That's when Victoria finally cracks, calls her mother in San Francisco, confesses she forgot how to see people, how to be more than her own ambition. Next board meeting, I stand at the end of that long, polished table, not a janitor anymore, but a witness. I lay out everything, how Mia's technology was buried, how Victoria once signed my academic death warrant, how silence isn't peace, just convenience. Victoria doesn't flinch. She owns her part, then resigns, waiving all her protections. My legacy isn't the empire I built, she says. It's the moment I let it go. Marissa volunteers to oversee the cleanup. I don't gloat. I came with truth. I say, I leave with hope that no one else gets erased. I turn down the fancy title they offer. What I care about can't be done from that office, I tell them. I propose a language initiative, a program to teach the silenced how to speak with presence. Marissa co-directs. The board funds it. Progress, right? 6 months later, Emma and I walk up the steps of the New York School of Global Languages. Her drawing, now a plaque, reads, silence isn't always peace. The kids laugh, and for the first time, I don't feel invisible. Victoria's in Kyoto, learning patience from her uncle, sending Emma a wind chime made from broken porcelain. It sings only when the wind's just right, a reminder that not all songs need words. Later, at Princeton, I stand at a podium, not because I fought harder, but because I forgave louder. Words can't fix what silence never got to finish, I say. Listening is what saves us. Emma, front row, beams up at me. Afterward, she shows me a drawing. Me and Victoria, side by side, a teapot between us. Underneath, we don't always need to win. Sometimes we just need to sit long enough to understand. Out on the steps, Victoria hands Emma a velvet pouch, a wind chime. It sings when the wind's just right, she says. Emma hugs her. For a moment, nobody says anything. And that's enough. So, here's my question. Where are you hearing this story from? Which moment hit you hardest? Caleb's truth in the boardroom, Emma's drawing, or that last, quiet gesture on the steps? Let's talk about it in the comments. Because sometimes, the language that really matters isn't the one we speak. It's the one we're finally ready to hear.